My name is Johnny Strange, and I'm a wingsuit base jumper.
That's Stoke, dude. The Stoke, good friends, good adventures.
The day I let my fear deter my ability to follow my dreams, I have already died. I will die someday, but on this day I was more alive than I had ever been before. Johnny Strange. Today I'm going to talk about losing my best friend when he was 23 years old. I don't even really know where to start. Probably the most special human ever. I just get the craziest chills right now. It's been 6 years and it still doesn't even feel real. Every single day doesn't feel real. I know he's still around. I do. And that brings me comfort. But I don't want to make this video. I don't want this to. My goal with this is to not make it be sad. My goal with this is to make an inspiring video on Johnny. And Johnny was the most badass, most humble, thoughtful, empathetic, caring, genuine person I've still to this day ever come in contact with. He was a true brother. Just a truthfully genuine, amazing person that was friends with everybody. And when I say that, like, friends with the garbage guy just as much as he's friends with, you know, his best friends. Like the cool, just so nice and genuine with everyone. And that was always super inspiring for me was, you know, this guy's just so friendly and awesome and fun to hang around. We had met when we were really young. Our moms were friends, and they were always the outcast parents because they had the outcast kids. At school and different things, like we were always the troublemakers getting into mischief, and they would always be like the moms that were being looked at by the other moms of like, what's up with these guys? You know, we're just causing trouble, being kids. I had moved away, so we had lost contact. But when we were probably 16 again, we started hanging out. And at that point, it was pretty much game on. Like we knew each other's capabilities as people at that young of an age, and we knew that we had a lot of similarities, and we were brothers.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick. I got the skydiving parachute. We're not gonna use that. We're gonna use the base gear and fly by Trevor. This man's gonna be naked jumping out of the air. How was it? That was super sick. I started spiraling to get down to Trevor, and then I wrapped around and it came right over. I was like, dude, I was like diving so hard to get to you.
We were very, very close, and so we just started doing everything together and started getting just as crazy as possible, doing the most fun, wild stunts, and just pushing each other. You know, it was really such a genuine connection. And when you have people like that in your life, it's so special and it's such a blessing. When we really started to hang out every single day, we were having so much fun and having just the best times ever.
My support is an upside down sledgehammer, and I have no idea if it's gonna hold because it's overhanging this. We'll see what happens.
This is the gnarliest thing I've seen in a while. I don't know if this video can do it justice, but that's a pretty hardcore gap with some concrete at the edge. If anyone can do it, it's gonna be Trevor's fucking crazy ass.
Johnny was an incredible athlete, an incredible person, just such an inspiring person to be around altogether. I mean, he was the youngest person to ever climb the 7 summits. Both of his parents are badass mountain climbers, and he would just go and keep up with them. So not only was he surfing big waves and climbing literally the biggest mountains in the world,
impossible is nothing!
Like doing all these different crazy things that the average person would never even think of nor be able to accomplish. And he's doing all of this in his, you know, early teens, late teens, early 20s, like just conquering the world basically. When he started getting into base jumping, it caught my attention because I had always been fascinated with base jumping as well. Skydiving, parachutes, paragliding, all of it. It's just a, you know, just flight in general is a huge passion and an interest of mine. So I remember when he was getting into that, it was really exciting, really inspiring. But at the same time, he was getting into it a little bit before I was. But it caught my attention of danger. You know, I knew how dangerous it is, and I knew, you know, how much of a badass he is, but I also understand that there's certain things that you can put yourself at risk with, that you could be the best athlete in the world, and there's still things that can happen that are out of your control. And so it worried me a little bit, but at the same time, you know, I had complete faith in him to do what he's gonna do because, you know, he's Johnny. I know he knew how dangerous it was because he would tell me all the time. You know, he was fascinated with the base jump death list, which is a list online that somebody made that tracks every single death that's ever happened in base jumping since the beginning of when base jumping was invented. And he would scan that list and look at it almost daily, kind of as an obsession. And the reason that might sound pretty morbid, but it was all calculation and like wanting to learn from people's mistakes because he knew how dangerous it was, that he wanted to see like, oh, what happened with this person? What happened with this person? Why did that happen? And it was like a pretty intense situation, but he would always be looking at that and showing me it and be like, yo, look at this person died doing this, or like, you know, watch. And that might sound pretty intense, but it was just real. It's a very real thing. And he's looking at that, and, you know, he used to show me all these different base jump death videos and stuff that was, in a way, I think he was showing that to his family as well. Like he was showing that to people around him, I think, just warning them like, hey, I'm partaking in this thing that I love to do, but it is really dangerous. And I think it was kind of like warning those around him, hey, this is very real. He would make these trips to Europe, and he would always text me on the plane, and it would say something along the lines of just a long text, like, all right, brother, I'm headed over here, you know, anything can happen, but just know if I don't make it back, just keep charging hard and keep living life to the fullest, and just know that I'll be okay. You know, so somewhere deep down in there, maybe even subconsciously, I think he knew he was pushing that fine line of danger. Literally living life on the edge, literally. Like you're jumping off 1,000-foot cliffs on the daily. There's risk that comes with that. And he knew that, you know, and he was a very against the term adrenaline addict. He was all about calculation and realizing, you know, hey, there's a method to this. At the same time, there's things, like I said, that happen, and there's things that are out of your control. And so he's a very, very skilled person. But as far as the room for error goes, you could be the best person in the world, and, you know, if you're put in a certain situation, you're just not going to be able to rise to the occasion because of the circumstances of that situation. His talent and ability, hands down, as high as it gets. But I did notice he started flying things that were very, very gnarly and very, very advanced. And that started to scare me a lot. And I would tell him that straight up, like all the time when we were talking, hanging out, just like you and I are sitting here. His concern with how intense it was would concern me, because I know how gnarly of an individual that Johnny is. And if he's expressing that concern, then it means it's for real, you know? And so if you're pushing the limits like that, you're really putting yourself at risk a lot. And I know, you know, you can't even count how many people lose their lives now from that sport. And Johnny would seclude himself in ways that myself and some of my other friends do, because they don't want, there's this fear, right, in an adrenaline addict's mind, whether it's conscious or not. There's this fear of getting too close to people because you understand the effects of what it would do to a person if you're gone. And Johnny was very conscious of that, and he was very good at doing that. It's honestly, it's an indescribable feeling of how important and meaningful that person was, and such a genuine part of so many different communities and all the lives that he's touched. And that's an amazing thing, and his life should serve as inspiration to people out there to go live your life and go out there and experience things and explore. But not only that, be kind to people. Johnny was always genuinely so nice to everybody he came in contact with, and that was always such a inspiration to me. And you know, we miss you every day, Johnny. We love you so much. There's honestly nothing that can describe the connection and the love that you've given me. And, you know, I'm just, I'm so proud of everything that you got to accomplish in your 23 years. We miss you every day. Your family misses you every day. You just want people to remember that there's great times, there's also hard times. And losing people, you can't describe what it even means. You can't even really talk about it. And so in certain ways, to even talk about it at all doesn't even do it justice. 4 days before his trip to Switzerland, he was jumping out of a hot air balloon, and that was what he was doing to train, because it's the best type of training. It's, you know, it's the closest thing to dead air, which is when you jump off a cliff. But you can use a skydiving rig, which has 2 parachutes. And I remember I was gonna go with him, but something had come up, so I didn't go with him. And I remember waiting for his phone call to see, you know, how the jump had gone. And I remember getting the phone call and him just saying, I just had the gnarliest malfunction of my life. I almost died. I had to cut away. My reserve barely opened in time. I landed in this crazy industrial area, slammed super hard on the ground. I messed up my wrist, that's what he was saying, and he was just real freaked out, and you know, and real, you could tell it really got him good. And he usually doesn't talk about anything, you know, nothing really scares Johnny, but this freaked him out pretty good. And we met up, he was giving me a ride at the train station. This was about a week before his trip, and something just didn't seem right. So I took out my camera and I just filmed a clip of us driving, and I really was just thinking about, you know, how much I cherish these moments, being next to, you know, my best friend. And
all right, Johnny is dropping me off at the train station. I'm going train hopping. He's going to Europe to go wingsuiting.
And we're just gonna be hardcore in charge the rest of our lives and give no fucks.
You heard it from the man himself. Cruising down the highway, living life, enjoying it to the fullest.
Every day.
Yeehaw!
My name's Alex Mazouk, and I was with Johnny at the time of the accident. It was a 2-way jump, so I was the last person to see him. The plan was to travel around for 2 weeks together in my van, and anywhere we went, he would throw out his tent, I would sleep in my van. In the morning, we'd throw the stuff in the car and go hike, climb, and fly.
Ah, yeah. Game time.
It was a beautiful day, some clouds, but no wind down at the bottom. The weather reports the day before, it also said about 1 to 2 kilometer an hour winds, and started hiking. And yeah, it took us probably 2.5 hours or so to get all the way up. We stopped a few times to take some pictures and videos because it was such a beautiful day. Yeah, it was just, we were on top of the world. Both just so happy and stoked on life, on the jumping. When we exited, it was a two-way. I was following him off the exit. As soon as he went off, I could tell his body position was a little off. He was tilted a little bit to the left. And I think because of that, instinctually he opened his wings to try to correct his body position, but there was wind from the right. But right then it gusted, and so being tilted slightly to the left, and then that gust of wind from the right, and that exact combination of his body position and that exact wind direction tilted him just past vertical. So he went head low. I could tell he was in a bit of trouble as soon as he went off, rotated onto his stomach, and then turned around and got flying. So I think if he had had the momentum, if he just went head low, he would have been able to pull out of it with enough momentum. But because of the way he fell vertically for too long before he started flying. And when he got there, he needed to turn left to stay in it, to give him the most separation, kind of fly through this groove to get out. Like I said, I thought he was making it. I thought, oh, he's lower than me, but yeah, we were not gonna be able to fly the same line that we wanted to, but he's got it. And then about 2 more seconds, second and a half, 2 more seconds before he impacted. I knew right away what had happened, that he was gone. I had to fly for another 1.5 minutes before I could even open my own parachute. And so I landed at the same place that we had planned on landing, right at a restaurant down at the bottom by the lake. Collapsed, and yeah, a gentleman came over and asked me what had happened. I told him my friend was dead on the mountain.
See if I still feel. I focus on the pain. The only thing that's real. The needle tears a hole. The old familiar sting. Try to kill it all, but I remember everything. What have I become? My sweetest friend. I wear this crown of thorns upon my liar's chair, full of broken thoughts I cannot prepare. Beneath the stains of time, the feelings disappear. You are someone else, I am still right here. What have I become? My sweetest friend, everyone I know goes away in the end, and you could have it all. My empire of dirt, I will let you down. I will make you hurt. If I could start again, a million miles away, I will keep myself, I will find a way.
I want to serve this message to show the youth and people out there, like, you know, it's not all about that beautiful YouTube video that somebody makes about, you know what I mean? Like, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, and there is injuries and death and people having to confront that, and the families and everything. And I've literally watched people's lives crumble right in front of me, and I've seen the deterioration that it's done, not only to me, but his family, his friends. It's left a gaping hole in our lives, and we love and miss him every day. There's so many people that have been affected by this that will never be the same. But what Johnny would really want to come out of this video is, don't be afraid to live your life. Make sure you live before you die, but also be smart and be respectful of those around you, your family, your friends, and go live your life before it's over, because someday it will be over and you'll be looking back on your life and saying, how did I live that life and was it worth it? And I know if Johnny was sitting right here, he would say, go live your life. Go live your life.